Have you ever heard of a wild cat so small and secretive it seems like a ghost of the forest? Well, today we're diving into the mysterious world of one of the planet's most elusive felines, the Oncilla. This incredible little creature, often called the little spotted cat or northern tiger cat, is a true wonder of the natural world, living a hidden life deep within the remote forests of Central and South America. For many people, even those who love wildlife, the Oncilla remains a complete unknown. It's a cat that moves like a whisper through the undergrowth, a perfectly adapted predator that has mastered the art of staying unseen, making every single glimpse of it a truly precious and unforgettable experience for the lucky few. The Oncilla is not a cat you'll find lounging in a city park or crossing a suburban street. It is a creature of the wild, through and through. Its scientific name, Leopardus tigrinus, hints at its fierce, tiger-like spirit, even though it's barely larger than a common house cat. This small but mighty hunter plays a vital role in the health of its ecosystem, yet it faces an uncertain future. As we explore its secret life, we'll uncover the challenges it confronts every single day, from the loss of its forest home to the dangers posed by human activity. Understanding this magnificent animal is the first step toward protecting it, ensuring that its soft, padded footsteps continue to grace the forest floor for generations to come. The name Oncilla itself, which means little jaguar in Spanish, perfectly captures the essence of this animal. It possesses all the grace, power, and wild beauty of its larger cousins, but in a miniature, concentrated form. Imagine a predator that combines the stealth of a leopard with the agility of a squirrel, all wrapped up in a package that could almost curl up on your lap. But make no mistake, this is no domestic pet. The Oncilla is a master of survival, a solitary navigator of the deep woods, and a testament to the incredible diversity of life that still hides in the world's most remote corners. Its story is one of resilience, mystery, and a quiet fight for existence. Our journey today will take us high into the misty cloud forests and down into the dense rainforests where this little cat makes its home. We'll learn about how it hunts in the dead of night, what it eats to survive, and how it raises its young alone in the vast wilderness. We will also confront the harsh realities it faces, shining a light on the threats that are pushing this species closer to the edge. The story of the Oncilla is not just about one small cat, it's a story about the fragile connections that hold our planet's ecosystems together and the responsibility we all share to protect them. So let's get ready to track one of nature's best-kept secrets. When you first see an Oncilla, you might think you're looking at a beautifully painted domestic cat, but this animal is a wild creature sculpted by evolution. An adult Oncilla typically weighs between 1.5 and 3 kilograms, that's about 3 to 7 pounds, making it one of the smallest wild cats in the Americas. Its body is slender and graceful, built for agility and stealth rather than brute force. The fur is a masterpiece of camouflage, ranging in color from a light sandy yellow to a rich dark ochre, providing the perfect cover in the dappled light of the forest floor. This beautiful coat is covered in a pattern of dark rosette-like spots that are often open-ended. Unlike the closed circles you might see on a jaguar, the Oncilla's face is just as captivating as its coat. It has large, expressive golden brown eyes that are perfectly adapted for seeing in the dark, giving it a huge advantage as a nocturnal hunter. Its ears are rounded and its muzzle is narrow, giving it a delicate and intelligent appearance. One of the most striking features is its long, ringed tail, which can be nearly as long as its body. This tail isn't just for show, it acts as a crucial balancing tool, helping the Oncilla navigate narrow branches and make daring leaps high up in the trees. When you compare it to a domestic cat, the Oncilla appears leaner, more athletic, and has a distinctly wild intensity in its gaze that you won't find in any house pet. In the grand family tree of wild cats, the Oncilla has some famous relatives. It belongs to the Leopardus genus, which includes other small spotted South American cats like the margay and the ocelot. The ocelot is much larger and more robust, often weighing 2 to 3 times as much as an Oncilla, and its coat has more elaborate chain-like rosettes. The margay, while similar in size, is a true acrobat of the trees, with specially adapted ankles that can rotate 180 degrees, allowing it to climb down trees head first, a skill the Oncilla does not possess. The Oncilla is the terrestrial specialist of the group, spending more time hunting on the ground than its tree-dwelling cousin. Interestingly, scientists have recently discovered that what we once called the Oncilla is actually a group of distinct species. Genetic studies have revealed that the southern Oncilla, Leopardus gutulus, and the northern Oncilla, Leopardus tigrinus, are separate species that diverged long ago. They may look similar, but they are genetically different, much like a polar bear and a brown bear. This discovery makes understanding and protecting them even more complex and urgent. It shows us that even in the 21st century, the forest still holds incredible secrets, and this little tiger cat is one of its most fascinating puzzles, a true miniature marvel of adaptation and survival. The Oncilla is a creature of high altitudes and dense remote forests, a true specialist that thrives where many other animals cannot. Its range stretches from Costa Rica in Central America, down through the Andes Mountains, covering parts of countries like Colombia, Ecuador, Brazil, and northern Argentina. However, it's not found everywhere within this vast area. The Oncilla has a strong preference for specific types of environments, most notably the montane cloud forests. These are magical, high-elevation forests that are almost constantly shrouded in mist and fog. The trees here are draped in moss, orchids, and bromeliads, creating a damp, green, and incredibly complex world that offers perfect cover for a small, secretive predator. Living at these high altitudes, sometimes over 3,000 meters or nearly 10,000 feet above sea level, presents unique challenges. The air is thinner, and the temperatures can drop significantly at night. The Oncilla is perfectly adapted to these conditions with its thick, insulating fur. While it is most famous for its life in the cloud forests, the Oncilla is also found in other habitats, including the dense, humid Atlantic forest in Brazil and parts of the Cerrado, a tropical savanna. However, it generally avoids open, cleared areas, preferring the safety and resource-rich environment of intact primary forests. Its survival is directly tied to the health of these specific and often fragile woodland ecosystems. Unlike some other wildcats that have large, overlapping territories, the Oncilla seems to carve out its own exclusive space. Each individual Oncilla maintains a home range where it hunts, rests, and lives its solitary life. The size of this territory can vary depending on the quality of the habitat and the availability of food. In a rich, prey-dense forest, a smaller area might be sufficient, while in a more sparse environment, the cat may need to roam over a much larger expanse to find enough to eat. These territories are marked with scent, a silent message to other Oncillas to keep their distance, ensuring that each cat has enough resources to survive on its own. The specific habitat preferences of the Oncilla make it particularly vulnerable to changes in the environment. Cloud forests, for example, are one of the ecosystems most threatened by climate change, as rising temperatures push the cloud layer higher up the mountains, altering the delicate balance of moisture and temperature that these forests depend on. Furthermore, deforestation for agriculture, cattle ranching, and logging is rapidly shrinking the Oncilla's available home. This fragmentation of the forest isolates populations, making it difficult for them to find mates and maintain genetic diversity. The Oncilla's beautiful mountain home is unfortunately disappearing right under its paws. When darkness falls over the forest, the world of the Oncilla truly comes alive. This small feline is primarily nocturnal, meaning it does most of its hunting under the protective cover of night. Its large eyes, equipped with a reflective layer called the tapetum lucidum, gather every last bit of available light, allowing it to see with remarkable clarity in near-total darkness. It moves with a silent, deliberate grace, its soft paws making almost no sound on the forest floor as it stalks its unsuspecting prey. The Oncilla is a solitary creature. It lives and hunts alone, relying entirely on its own skills, senses, and instincts to survive. This solitary lifestyle is common among small cats, as it reduces competition for food and allows each individual to operate with maximum stealth. The Oncilla is a patient and methodical hunter. It doesn't rely on a long, high-speed chase like a cheetah. Instead, it uses a strategy of ambush and surprise. It will move slowly through its territory, using its keen hearing to detect the faintest rustle in the leaf litter and its sharp sense of smell to pick up the trail of a potential meal. Once it locates its target, it will crouch low to the ground, its spotted coat blending in perfectly with the shadows and vegetation. It then creeps forward, step by silent step, until it is close enough to launch a lightning-fast pounce. This explosive burst of energy is often all it takes to secure its meal. So, what's on the menu for this little tiger cat? The Oncilla is a carnivore with a varied diet that reflects its skill as a versatile hunter. Its primary food source consists of small mammals such as rodents, opossums, and shrews. These small creatures are abundant on the forest floor, and the Oncilla is an expert at catching them. However, it's an opportunistic predator and won't pass up other available food. It also preys on small birds, lizards, and even large insects. This dietary flexibility is a key to its survival, allowing it to adapt to seasonal changes in prey availability and thrive in different parts of its range. By controlling populations of small animals, the Oncilla plays a crucial role as a mesopredator, helping to maintain balance in its ecosystem. After a successful hunt, the Oncilla will often carry its meal to a safe, secluded spot to eat without being disturbed by other predators or scavengers. The life of a solitary hunter is a demanding one, requiring constant vigilance and a great deal of energy. When it's not hunting, an Oncilla will spend its time resting, hidden away in a dense thicket, a hollow log, or a rocky crevice. These safe havens provide protection from larger predators, such as ocelots or birds of prey, and a quiet place to conserve energy for the next night's hunt. This cycle of rest and hunt lived out in solitude defines the secret life of this incredible nocturnal specialist. Despite its incredible adaptations for survival, the Oncilla faces a daunting array of threats, most of which are directly linked to human activities. The single greatest danger to this small cat is habitat loss and fragmentation. The beautiful montane forests and tropical lowlands where the Oncilla lives are being cleared at an alarming rate for agriculture, particularly for coffee and palm oil plantations, as well as for cattle ranching and logging. As these forests disappear, the Oncilla's home shrinks, and populations become trapped in small, isolated patches of habitat. This isolation prevents them from finding mates, which leads to inbreeding and a loss of genetic diversity, making them more susceptible to disease, and less able to adapt to future changes. In the past, the Oncilla was heavily hunted for its beautiful pelt. During the 1970s and 1980s, hundreds of thousands of Oncilla skins were traded on the international fur market. While international laws and conventions have since made this trade illegal, poaching still occurs on a local level. The Oncilla is sometimes killed by farmers who mistakenly believe it is a threat to their chickens, even though it primarily preys on wild rodents. Additionally, there is a sad and growing demand for Oncillas in the illegal pet trade. Their small size and beautiful appearance make them desirable as exotic pets, but these are wild animals that cannot be tamed and suffer immensely in captivity. Another significant threat is conflict and competition with other species, sometimes exacerbated by human changes to the environment. In some areas, Oncillas are killed by domestic dogs that are allowed to roam freely into protected areas. These dogs not only can kill Oncillas directly, but also spread diseases that the wild cats have no immunity to. Furthermore, road construction through Oncilla habitat leads to vehicle collisions, which can be a major cause of death in some regions. As roads cut through the forest, they create deadly barriers that fragment populations and expose the cats to new dangers as they attempt to cross from one side to the other. Finally, climate change casts a long and ominous shadow over the future of the Oncilla, particularly for those populations living in high-altitude cloud forests. These unique ecosystems are incredibly sensitive to shifts in temperature and rainfall patterns. As the planet warms, the cloud bank that provides essential moisture to these forests is predicted to rise in elevation, effectively pushing the habitat uphill until it runs out of mountain. This could lead to the complete disappearance of some cloud forests, leaving the specialized creatures that depend on them, like the Oncilla, with nowhere left to go. The combination of all these pressures has led the IUCN to classify the Oncilla as a vulnerable species, a clear warning that without action, we risk losing this little spotted wonder forever. Studying an animal as small, rare, and secretive as the Oncilla is an enormous challenge for scientists. You can't just walk into the forest and expect to see one. Their nocturnal habits and masterful camouflage mean that direct sightings are incredibly rare. For decades, much of what we knew about Oncillas came from studying pelts seized from the fur trade, or from the occasional animal found as roadkill. This made it nearly impossible to understand their behavior, population numbers, or true habitat needs in the wild. To protect a species, we first have to understand it, and for a long time, the Oncilla remained a ghost, a complete mystery to the scientific community. Fortunately, modern technology has given researchers powerful new tools to pull back the curtain on the Oncilla's secret life. One of the most important innovations is the use of remote camera traps. These are motion-activated cameras that can be placed along forest trails and left for months at a time. When an animal walks by, it triggers the camera, capturing a photo or video without disturbing the creature. This technology has been a game changer, providing scientists with invaluable data on where oncillas live, what their activity patterns are, and even allowing them to identify individual cats by their unique spot patterns. It's like having hundreds of patient, silent observers working around the clock in the forest. In addition to camera traps, genetic analysis has revolutionized our understanding of the oncilla. By collecting DNA from samples like scat or hair found in the forest, scientists can learn an incredible amount of information. They can determine the diet of an individual cat, assess its genetic health, and even estimate the size of a population without ever having to see or capture a single animal. It was through this kind of genetic research that we discovered the northern and southern oncillas were actually distinct species. This knowledge is crucial for conservation, as it tells us we need to develop separate strategies to protect each unique lineage of this amazing cat. Armed with this new knowledge, conservation efforts are underway to protect the oncilla and its fragile habitat. A key strategy is the establishment and enforcement of protected areas, such as national parks and biological reserves, which serve as safe havens where the forests are kept intact. Beyond these parks, conservation groups are working with local communities and landowners to promote sustainable practices, like shade-grown coffee, which can provide a habitat for oncillas while still allowing farmers to make a living. Educating local people about the oncilla's importance and dispelling myths that they are a major threat to livestock is another critical step in fostering a peaceful coexistence between humans and this little wild cat. The oncilla may be small, but its role in the ecosystem is mighty. As a mesopredator, it sits in the middle of the food chain, hunting smaller animals and, in turn, being potential prey for larger ones. By preying on rodents, small marsupials, and insects, the oncilla helps to control their populations. Without predators like the oncilla, these smaller species could multiply unchecked, which could have cascading negative effects on the environment, such as damaging vegetation or spreading disease. The oncilla is a natural and essential form of pest control, a tiny guardian that helps maintain the delicate balance and health of its forest home. Its presence is a sign that the ecosystem is functioning properly. Because of its specific habitat needs and sensitivity to environmental changes, the oncilla serves as a valuable indicator species. Think of it as a barometer for forest health. If oncilla populations are thriving, it generally means the forest is intact, with clean water, a complex structure, and a healthy prey base. Conversely, if oncillas begin to disappear from an area, it's a clear warning sign that the ecosystem is in trouble, likely suffering from deforestation, pollution, or the impacts of climate change. By monitoring the status of oncilla populations, we can get a clearer picture of the overall health of some of the most biodiverse and threatened ecosystems on Earth. Beyond its ecological importance, the oncilla holds a special place in the cultural fabric of the indigenous and local communities that share its forest home. In many native myths and folklore, wild cats are revered as powerful spirits of the forest, symbols of strength, stealth, and independence. They are seen not just as animals, but as sacred beings with a deep connection to the natural world. The oncilla, with its ghost-like presence and beautiful jaguar-like coat, is often associated with magic, mystery, and the hidden forces of the jungle. Protecting the oncilla is also about preserving this rich cultural heritage and the traditional knowledge that honors the intricate web of life. Ultimately, protecting the oncilla is about more than just saving one beautiful species from extinction. It's about protecting the entire web of life that depends on its habitat. When we work to save the oncilla, we are also working to save the cloud forests and rainforests it calls home. These forests are the lungs of our planet, producing oxygen, regulating the climate, and providing fresh water for millions of people. You can help by supporting organizations that work on the ground to protect these habitats and educate communities. By making conscious choices as consumers, and by raising our voices for conservation, we can all become guardians of the forest and ensure that this little spotted wonder continues to roam the shadows for centuries to come.